Good evening, Professor. Good evening, class. Vincent here. This is my partial contribution for our week 4 discussion posts, and I will continue where I left off with the written post addressing Mason's scenario, as well as briefly speaking about the misclassification of an employee. As I already mentioned in my prior posts, meeting the terms of that's set forth by the IRS for the rules for classifying a worker, an individual can be an employee or an independent contractor. The general rule of thumb states that the worker is classified as an independent contractor if the employer has the right to control only the result, and not how it will be done or what will be done and how it will be done. So, in other words, if the employer directly controls what's being done and how it's being done, this person is classified as an employee. Basically, somebody who's lacking that independence and where the employer has direct oversight over that person, as a part of their daily duties. As mentioned, when determining the worker's classification, you must consider three controls: the behavioral control, the financial control, and the relationship between the parties. So I already answered prompts A, B, and C, uh, and I want to continue basically where I left off. To answer prompt D, Mason obtained his job skills from Isabella's training program. Prompt E, Mason performs the services at Isabella's business location. And prompt F, Mason is paid based on the time worked rather than the task performed. So in prompt D, Mason obtained his job skills from Isabella's training program. That means Isabella provided the training, directed, and is probably directing how the job is to be completed and and when to report to work, and you know all these other vagaries. So in this scenario, Mason's an employee, or he's classified as an employee. He's given instructions, and like I said, he's even likely told where to work and what tools to use, for to complete that job at hand. So the degree of the instructions and training are detailed. It indicates that Mason is an employee. In prompt E, Mason performs the services at Isabella's business location. Right. So Mason works at Isabella's primary location, and again, he he's probably going to be instructed when to report to work, or how to report to work, or how to do the complete tasks. Again, this is a part of as a part of the behavioral control. So he's an employee in this scenario. And again, in prompt F, Mason is paid based on the time worked rather than the task performed. Since Mason is compensated based on time versus completing his job, he's an employee. In prompts D and E, Mason is classified as an employee because of the behavioral controls that's set, and how to do the work at hand, and where, and to report on duty. In addition, he was provided a training, and provided instructions, which are strong indicators. It's a strong evidence, word for word from the IRS website. It's a strong evidence that this person is an employee. In prompt F, Mason is paid an hourly wage, which is actually specified as a part of the financial control test. So this is why he is an employee in all three of these scenarios. With that said, let me add a little more to the discussion. Employees or proprietors, who cares, right? So, well, we all should. First and foremost, because there are consequences for misclassifying an employee. So, for employers, classifying an employee as an independent contractor where there's no reasonable basis, this is word for word from the IRS website, where there's no reasonable basis, makes the employer liable for his employment taxes. So misclassifying them will result in the employers paying for federal tax, Social Security, and FICA. Um, the IRS does, to kind of to kind of go against, to kind of help the situation. The IRS does help employers classify their workers by submitting. You can submit an SS8 form. Um, and additionally, the website obviously provides guidance on the three controls: behavioral, financial, and relationship. And they also provide aid for employers. What do you call it? They also provide aid to determine employer supplemental tax guide and estimated tax and withholding, as well as classification for business expenses. As you can imagine, if it's been conceptualized, it's been addressed. But well, it's been long enough, so I hope this was helpful to you guys. And still trying to catch up on work stuff. Sorry again. I apologize for submitting this last minute. I'll try to do better next week. But as always, I hope you all stay safe and be well. I'll see you guys in my next post.